Coming in at number 10, we have creepy singing. Alright, let's start off with something very ominous. To be honest, this might be nothing, but for some reason, this sent a chill down my spine. The YouTuber Cuban Guy ordered a mystery box off the dark web, and instead of getting something that could have been a knife, or a head, or Spice Girls the movie on Laserdisc, he got a cassette tape, and actually a pretty nice pair of headphones. Actually, those might have been his. He wasn't sure what could be on the tape, so with bated breath, he gave it a listen, and then the secret was unveiled. It was just a lady singing. That is kind of a letdown. Well, not really. I can't tell what the woman is saying because it is in a language that I do not speak, and Cuban Guy doesn't have any answers either. Some people in the comments think that it could have been a simple lullaby, while other people think it was more akin to the tape recording from the movie Evil Dead. You know, the one that summons an evil force from the Necronomicon that slowly but surely kills everyone in a cabin? Yeah, let's hope it was the latter and move on to the next point. Coming at number 8, we have WizKid. Here's something about a mystery box. You have no idea what is going to be in there. Duh, that's why it's called a mystery box. Well, maybe before you reach into the box that you bought off the dark web, you should look into it, because the YouTuber goes by the name Namebrand decided that he would reach into this mystery box before he gave it the full inspection. And it turns out the box had a container of pee in it. Well, good thing he had gloves on, right? This mystery box sounds like those Harry Potter Jelly Bellies that had nasty flavors in them. Like some were apple cinnamon, but others were like cow farts. That's what this box is. You think you're gonna get a spooky surprise, and then someone just pees in your hand. Yay, the internet. Coming in at number 7, we have Hidden Gems. I dug deep to find this mystery box, and honestly, if I could prove that it was real, it would be at number 1. You can't see who is opening the mystery box. They don't speak in the video. There's just a POV shot of them opening the box. It seems like a normal cardboard box, and then inside is an old digital camera that has some duct tape over it. The person who's opening the box takes out the camera, and then it just starts up. Maybe it's a model of camera that's like motion activated or something, similar to the way your iPhone will start up if you move it. Whatever the reason, it's very creepy. The camera has enough charge to play a video, and I can't tell if this video is real. I'm really hoping that it's staged. Coming at number 6, we have spooky medical supplies. Now this one looks like someone really trying hard to make something scary, and I'll give it to them. They really tried. That guy, Aaron, went to the trouble of getting a mystery box off the dark web, and the content seemed to be sinister. There's some zip ties in there, rubber gloves, a hand-powered drill, and clamps, along with some homemade video of a lady talking to the camera while she's in a park. The whole thing implies that this lady had some sort of horrible surgery done to her against her will, but after watching the video a few times, I think that this one is a hoax. Everything is just way too clean. The video could have simply been taken off the internet, but I still think the box gave off a very creepy vibe, so I'm gonna give it an A for effort. Coming in at number 4, we have the Iceman Cometh. Now this mystery box, I might believe. There is a little bit more mystery with it, so it has me curious. The box was opened by YouTuber TNC. Inside the box is what seemed to be an ice pick with a red stain on the end. Now this could be any number of things, but the subtlety of the creepiness is what really sends it home. There was also some medical pliers, which could imply that the ice pick was pulled out of something or someone. Whoa.
And we're gonna start off with a story posted by Reddit user Netcats1. They had become interested in the dark web mystery box trend and decided to give it a try themselves. They ended up regretting it. A box arrived on their doorstep. Box contained several envelopes. They opened the first envelope, revealing a collection of photographs capturing various destinations around the world. The thing is though, to their shock, they began to realize that the pictures were taken of places they had gone on vacation with their family. The following envelope held pictures of their house, meticulously capturing every angle, including glimpses of the interior through their windows. To their horror, the subsequent set of images portrayed the inside of their home, featuring family members engaged in everyday activities. However, the most disturbing photograph awaited in the final envelope, an unsettling selfie of a masked figure standing beside them sleeping in bed. Overwhelmed, Countless questions flooded their mind and their anxiety escalated. Nevertheless, their curiosity persisted in compelling them to open the remaining small box. What they found inside nearly caused them to pass out. It was a collection of dog bones, recognizable by the collar as belonging to their beloved pet Charlie, who had passed away 3 years prior and was buried in the backyard. Is this story true? Probably not, but it's still a creepy story. Next up, we have a mystery box unboxing gone wrong. Mindseed TV, who makes a lot of these videos, shared a video on their YouTube channel of a rather disturbing unboxing. And apparently they ended up handing over all this stuff to the police. So if that's true, it's pretty scary. The box was sent to them unexpectedly, and the uploader believed it was sent by the same individual who he had purchased a mystery box from over a year prior. The stuff they pull out gets worse and worse as the video goes on. Starts getting real unsettling though when they pull out a pair of kids' shoes. Take a look at that. Yeah, not something you want to get in a box unless you're, intentionally buying them for your kid. They also received a case containing several surgical tools, a meat grinder, and most disturbingly, they unwrap a ceramic container shaped like a heart, and when they opened it up, they find what looks to be a set of human teeth. Yeah, pretty disturbing, if it's real anyway. At number 8, we have an unboxing from the YouTube channel Luxury Dark. Now, just for starters, I like these guys. Whether what they have in this box is real or not, or was sent by some mysterious person or not, the video is presented really well. I find with a lot of videos like this, it's very played up. It's a lot of overacting and just YouTubers being obnoxious, unlike me, of course. But these two seem genuine, which I like, and the stuff they pull out, pretty creepy. First of all, they state at the start of the video that the package was dropped off in their backyard by some guy in the middle of the night. Whoever it is doesn't look like a UPS worker or anything like that. Take a look. Word of advice, don't order anything from the dark web right to your home address. Just send it to like a post office, pick it up there. Anyway, they pull out a stuffed animal, some letters addressed to someone named Michelle. There was also a framed photo of a random family. Seemed like these were items that belonged to someone else, because it would be very strange for someone to send a picture of their own family to a stranger online, although there's all sorts of people in the world, so who knows. They also pulled out a bag of socks, underwear, and hair. Most disturbingly though, they found a USB with footage that looked to be taken from outside of somebody's window. Alright, let's move on to number 7. This next video was uploaded to YouTube by Kira Bridget, and she seems to have done more than one of these unboxings, and I don't get why, if they are real anyway. This one, really gross. First she pulls out a used tissue, and all I could think watching this was she needs to invest in more gloves. She said she was just out, but yeah, she really should have waited till she had some, because she picked this stuff up with her bare hands, and that's the most disturbing part of the whole thing. There's a good chance she just assembled this box herself. There's a chance that's the case for all these videos, but yeah, if this is indeed real, then hey, you know what? I think it was money well spent. Next on the list, we have an unboxing from YouTuber Infinite. Now, he opens a couple boxes in this video, one of which actually has some pretty cool stuff I don't actually buy intentionally, but the first box he opens, again, if this is actually a package he got from some person online, it's pretty nasty. Again, he really should have been wearing gloves. Again, what's with these people not wearing gloves? I'd put a mask on too. Anyway, the first thing he pulls out, with his eyes closed, mind you, which is another mistake, is a bag containing something. Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks kind of like maybe a chicken breast to me with barbecue sauce, and even if that is what it is, it's still pretty gross to receive that in the mail. He proceeds to open the bag and give it a whiff. Third mistake, and even gets some of the mysterious juices on his fingers, which seems to be leaking from the bag. Ugh. At number 5, we have a video uploaded to YouTube by Jude Summers. Now, I'm pretty new to this dark web mystery box thing, and by that I mean I found out about this today. So I'm not sure if this is true, but he states at the start of the video that he hadn't seen anyone buy mystery boxes off the dark web before. So this could be the very first YouTuber to do it, or at least film themselves doing it anyway. There you go. We're watching history being made. Now, luckily, Jude starts off by putting on a pair of gloves, and it turns out he needed them because the first thing he pulled out of the box was a package of wet wipes with a note reading, "You might need this." So there's gonna be some icky stuff in this box. He proceeds to pull out a few pretty innocuous items, but by far the weirdest and grossest thing he received was a strange, foul-smelling something. Take a look. Looks kind of like a rotten mushroom, maybe? I don't know, but I would not have pulled it out of the bag at all. Again, he should have just been wearing a mask. That thing just looks nasty. Number 4. This next video is uploaded by Juggling the Jenkins. Love that name. It was the day before Halloween, so Tiffany's husband purchased some mystery boxes for her to open on camera, and she got some absolutely lovely new dolls, some animal skulls, and a small little bottle of holy water. Good call. I mainly put this one on here because she's hilarious, and whether the boxes were sent by some creep or just someone having a laugh, it's pretty clear that Tiffany is genuinely surprised about what she's finding, which is far more entertaining than people overacting and playing stuff up for the camera. She pulls out a really disgusting looking doll, and her reaction is priceless. Gotta say, I'd probably have a similar reaction. In one box, she pulls out several taxidermy type items, some animal bones, and what looks to be some sort of shriveled up hand. This next video is brought to us by the YouTube channel Fanatic. And if this is real, it's absolutely insane. I don't know, it's pretty far-fetched, but their reactions seem pretty genuine, so you be the judge. So these guys bought a package off the dark web, and inside of it was what looked to be a burlap sack, and inside that sack was another box. So yeah, as they said, it looks like an ammo box, but what was contained inside of it was completely unexpected. It had a bunch of wet paper towels, and under that was a bag containing this. Yeah, it's just a lungfish in a bag. Now again, this whole thing can definitely be fake, but just looking at the reactions, it seems like they're genuinely surprised here, so who knows? I mean, how stuff like this gets across any borders, I mean, don't they check the packages? But anyway, I mean, it's still cool to see a lungfish pulled out of a box like that. I don't know. I was entertained by this video. At number 2, we have a TikToker named Masked Red. Masked Red, who happens to actually wear a black mask, opens tons of mystery boxes apparently bought off the dark web. He's received all kinds of stuff: watches, a water bottle full of hot dogs. Some of it's pretty mundane, while other boxes have contained more sinister items. Phone containing mysterious pictures. Take a look at this. And this box containing this absolutely nightmarish doll. Yeah, I don't like the look of that thing. No eyes, no mouth. Dolls are the worst. I don't know. Anyone ever seen someone who like collects dolls? I don't get it. If these are real boxes he's buying with Bitcoin on the deep web, he's got some money to spend too, because he's uploaded tons of these videos. And finally though, at number 1, we have what I'm just gonna call Backpack. This video is once again uploaded by Mindseed TV, and is pretty well known in the dark web mystery box community, I guess. The creepiest part of this video is when they pull out a child's backpack. Very unsettling. This is one of those videos I really hope isn't real, or at least that the person who sent the package is just trying to creep people out. But contained within the bag was a pair of child-sized shorts and a sweater. Now, as icky and weird as that is, what's interesting about this video is that this is the first package Mindseed TV received from this seller, who he believes sent the unexpected package a year later that we discussed earlier in the video at number 9. And again, you know, whether this stuff is real or not, it does make for a pretty spooky series of videos, so give them a watch if you're interested.
Making our way down the list, at number 8, we have the Demon Pet.
Wispy, come here, boy.
So in this video posted by Eggplant's World, we see him outside calling for a pet while holding a chip for it. Now, I expected a cute little dog to come by, or like maybe a deer, but no. No. I'm too innocent. I'm too naive. Out of nowhere, a creepy looking dude with white makeup on comes and takes the chip from him. Why? Just why? Like, who comes up with these things? This is not okay. Y'all need therapy. I mean, I probably need therapy after this video. In our 7th spot, we have the Stillness. Now, TikToker Last Man Stanley is known for his more unusual TikToks. They are more artistic, left open for interpretation. But this one gave me the chills. So it starts off with different people, all played by the same dude, doing normal things, like driving, eating cereal, and brushing their teeth. Then all of a sudden, something comes over them, and they all freeze and get a creepy look on their face. It ends with the video losing some of its color, and we see a bunch of hands scratching against a window. I mean, I'm not sure what this video is supposed to represent, but it sure did give me the chills. It's just so unsettling. Moving on to number 6, we have the eyes. So in this video, TikToker Cole Hirsch is running frantically while you hear sirens in the background.
Life hack!
He's got a ripped shirt on and he sounds crazy. Then out of nowhere he goes, "I got fired from Buffalo Wild Wings," and makes eye contact with the camera.
Got fired from Buffalo Wild Wings!
And as soon as that happened, the video went downhill. Take a look at his eyes. I have never hated contacts this much in my life. He looks possessed. Like, it looks like he tore his pupil. He deserves to be locked up. Like, this video is not okay. I say that so many times, but it's not okay. I feel like he took a part of my soul. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Whisper. Siri and other AIs scare the crap out of me. Like, one day Siri, Alexa, and Roomba are gonna team up and take over the world. It's happening. I'm predicting it. It's just a matter of time. Well, if the thought of that doesn't scare you, then this TikTok certainly will. So this was posted by Jamie Uno on TikTok. Siri is repeating back to him his nickname, which he changed so that when Siri says it, it sounds like she's whispering.
Daddy, but since we're friends, I get to call you a
It is by far the creepiest sound I have ever heard Siri make. It's like a creepy, breathy whisper, which turns into a creepy, evil laugh. It's literally like it's so creepy. It's a sound that Siri should never be allowed to make. In our 4th spot, we have the dandruff. People are just going way too far with certain TikToks. So a user named Superbass by Nicki Minaj took the footage of another TikToker shaking his dandruff off his head and then turned it into something disgusting. So in the original video, the user clearly has a lot of dandruff and is shaking it all off while Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas plays, as if it's supposed to be like snow coming down. But then, Superbass by Nicki Minaj took it a step too far and added theirself laying on the floor with their mouth open while someone sprinkled flour into their mouth, making it look like they were eating his dandruff. No, just no, I did not want to see that. Just thinking about that gets me nauseous. Coming in at number 2, we have the ketchup. Not gonna lie, I have a pretty strong stomach, but I almost threw up looking at this TikTok. So, you know when you open a new ketchup bottle and you don't shake it and that nasty watery stuff comes out? Yeah, well, Ian_V2 had a hot dog and a ketchup bottle and just squirted all that nasty watery ketchup all over his plate, like completely saturating the hot dog. I'm thoroughly disgusted. There's something about that that just makes my stomach churn. Even thinking back to the TikTok now is just making me feel sick.
Number 9, stolen goods. Wait a hot minute, people on the internet steal things? I feel sick. I feel betrayed. Yeah, this next one isn't surprising, but still it's pretty batshit insane. There's a professional kleptomaniac who will steal anything for you. He's out there somewhere. I'm not gonna say their name, but they're there. Just not the Declaration of Independence. They probably can't steal that. We've seen a movie on how hard that is to do. All you have to do is send them Bitcoin, a photo of what you want, and voila, stolen goods will arrive. All you have to do is pay a criminal through the dark web. How simple is that? This dude also just loves to steal regardless, because on his site or his little blog, whatever, he has items that he stole for people, but then ended up backing out. Or things he's come across and thought, you know what, that would be really nice to sell through the dark web later on. Yeet. He just steals things and it's like, hey, does anyone want anything? I have tons of things. Horrible. Don't buy any stolen goods, ever. Number 8, always watching. One of my biggest fears when I'm using my computer is that my webcam is still somehow on and running and somebody's watching me. Like I'm covered in Dorito dust at 2 a.m. It's not a great sight. Cover that up. I put a little bit of tape there, that's how paranoid I am. Comment down below if you also tape down your webcams, you freaks. This next one comes from a Redditor who shared their experience with the dark web and their visit, and it gave me goosebumps. This was before Google, they say, when web pages were more or less just basic HTML with JavaScript. They were browsing random threads or blogs, early days of the internet, you know, link to link type deal, reading about labradoodles, whatever you can find. Then they came across this thread that was like an early Twitter almost, just random accounts posting their random thoughts, and at the top of this thread there was a new post with their IP address, and in all lowercase text the message said, "We see you." No, bye. Normally that's not a huge deal, but the message was uploaded right when they were scrolling to the top, and when they clicked another link, another message popped up saying, "Hello there." Okay, there, Obi-Wan Kenobi looking ass. Now at that point, I would just break my webcam. It would be gone. I'd fold my laptop backwards. These files ended up tracing back to an IP address in Colorado for somebody who worked in some sort of medical department, so that's nice. In between procedures, he's like, "Hello there, welcome." Number 7. Credit cards. It comes to no shock that around 11 million Americans report credit card theft a year, and the dark web definitely is not helping that. There's this lovely service online that sells credit card information, social security numbers, anything of yours that you don't want out in the public, essentially. They got you covered. It's pretty twisted. The more money you pay, the bigger the account you get is, obviously. Also, I'm talking like money as in $20 to $80. And you have to pay in Bitcoin as well, so it's challenging. This sounds like a terrible idea on so many levels. $20 and then your life is ruined, as well as somebody else's. The FBI is on this. I mean, 11 million Americans go through this, so we gotta figure out something, right? Back in 2010, the FBI ran a fake site and ended up busting 24 scammers, saving around 400,000 victims. That's wild. That's a lot of people. They would have been screwed. Getting back at the rich is one thing, but paying $20 for a CEO's credit card, there you go right to jail. It's that way. Number 6, Netflix. I'm so private about my Netflix account, I have no idea why. Same as my Spotify, I just get anxious. I don't want people knowing that I'm watching glass-blowing shows at 3 a.m. I keep that to myself. That's private time. That's for me. Or cooking shows. Those are both nice. But when it comes to the dark web, people might be using your account. Yeah, imagine somebody else finishing Ozark before you even get to. Worst crime of all. Your account is worth pennies, apparently. On these black market sites, you can piggyback off of a paying customer, have their login and password, and then just secretly use their Netflix. But again, if somebody was watching Peppa Pig at 4 a.m., odds are you'll be suspicious. So these accounts come and go often, hence the low asking price. This is a challenging part of the internet still, especially users that are older and not too aware of the dangers online. These fake emails go out saying it's from Netflix and they're requesting a password change and all that jazz. And people believe it, sadly. I myself almost fallen into one of these traps. I'm like, oh shit, Netflix just texted me about my credit card. I gotta go pay them back. I'm like, oh, Netflix just texted me about my OSAT payments. That's weird, I'm gonna go call them. Number 5, wish pills. Have you ever asked your wish for other wishes? Have you ever tossed a coin into a fountain and then wished all your dreams would just come true? If so, that's pretty normal. We're not gonna ask too many questions here. We've all had a birthday wish. We're dreamers here on Most Amazing Top 10, we get it. But would you ever buy a wish online, let alone buy a wish from the dark web? What does that even mean? Also, let's talk about it. Well, you can pay a small fee and receive a pill, just a pill, that supposedly will grant a wish. There's so much wrong here. I mean, first of all, never order any pill from the dark web. The place is of course littered with narcotics, so that'll go poorly most of the time. And secondly, what a waste of money. Shipping is not cheap. That pill is coming from Chris Angel's home. It's like at least $17. Maybe more. Number 4, mystery boxes. Perhaps one of the most compelling parts of the dark web has to be this mystery box craze. Do you remember this? I remember this. It was scary. YouTubers would just film themselves receiving a random item, or a box rather, from the dark web. Now these items range in designer clothes, maybe it's a new phone, or maybe it's something absolutely horrible. We love to gamble. 50-50. One YouTuber ended up pulling this child's book out, but it was already colored in with all these haunting images and colors. Sometimes you would get nothing as well. Yeah, it's like the internet's shady almost. YouTuber Alex Maynard tossed $100 towards this mystery exchange, and all they got was a note, handwritten of course, that said, "You shouldn't accept packages from strangers. Good luck." Honestly, I think it's the best case scenario here, just receiving a life lesson instead of like, I don't know, a finger. I'll take it, that's good. Number 3, uranium. Ah yes, the key ingredient to making a nuclear weapon. Uranium, good stuff. Back in 1938, the world was changed forever when German nuclear physicists discovered nuclear fission. They discovered what would happen if an atom were to split. Well, what happens is it causes a massive explosion. The bombings at Hiroshima and Nagasaki alone, I mean thousands of lives were lost instantly, and we're still selling small amounts of uranium on the dark web. Humans are awesome. great. The amount sold, of course, is incredibly small compared to the amount used in warfare, but still, don't buy uranium off the dark web. Don't buy any chemicals from the dark web for that matter. This is a list on what not to do, but what you can do right now is hit that thumbs up. Kind of, change the energy up. Don't buy uranium, instead, hit that thumbs up. Number 2, alien footage. Honestly, there's one thing on this list that makes me kind of want to visit the dark web. This has got to be a tinfoil hats ahoy. Not a new phone, not a new watch, but alien footage. That's apparently something that can come your way. I would leave this freak a 5-star Yelp review if I could. Imagine paying an anonymous source some bitcoins and then you get this. This video was found in the depths of the deep dark web and it's a little convincing. I mean, they're showing UFOs whipping through the skies now on news, so that's a normal thing, apparently. So who really knows? The footage is from 1992 and supposedly was filmed in Switzerland, and it shows a cold little alien. Just a little dude. The typical look as well, the big eyes, the big head, humanoid shape, real Independence Day vibes almost, so odds are it's obviously fake. But again, what an odd thing to pay for and then receive from the internet. The full video shows different angles of this little alien being held up by wire in some sort of cold lab. Now, I'm not trying to convince you that aliens are real, at least not in this video. I'm trying to convince you instead to not look for videos of them on the dark web because I had to browse and I saw some shit I didn't want to see. Just don't. And finally, number 1, more mystery boxes. There's a lot of videos of YouTubers opening these things and it's terrifying, so we figured we'd cap this list off with a few of our faves. Crypto NWO uploaded their mystery box adventure quite recently, and it's just as horrible as you'd expect. They open up this stuffed bear wearing leather cuffs, and in the center of the stuffed animal's chest there's a clock. I gotta say, the speed at which they pull this thing out, it looks like an explosive. Don't yank any clocks out from a dark web box ever. Oh my god. They continue and find clothes, a blue mask, like one of those, Jabberwocky masks that's blue, a green little skeleton rubber toy thing, and one of the scariest things of all time, a Luigi walkie-talkie. Yeah, this is when they throw on the rubber gloves, which is a pretty good idea. That's when it starts to get a little strange. Would you ever say hello to a walkie-talkie from the dark web? Are you insane? I would. I'd be like, who's there? Beep, 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 beep. The best part, perhaps, in this entire unboxing video is when they pull out what they think is a phone that vibrates. It's not. Number 10, house creep. Are you in the market for a new house? Maybe you and your significant other are looking to upgrade, right? We'd love to see it. Nice. I applaud the changes coming your way. You've earned it. Now, depending which website you pick, you may be stuck living in an otherwise haunted house. I'm not talking about haunted, oh it's old, some doors creak. I'm talking horrible, horrible things have unfolded here under that same roof. Houses where people have passed away. I'll say that. You know what I'm trying to say here. Houses that have been used in some sort of illegal substance operation as well. Again, trying to say what, you know what I'm saying here. It's really up to you. All the categories are right there in front of you. All you have to do is head to housecreep.com and you'll see every option, every dark, horrible option. The website is eerie because obviously it's contents, but it looks like a normal 2022 holiday booking website. It's too casual, you know what I mean? It's gross. I'll be the Hotel Trivago guy, but for this website. Do those weird dances that he does. He's always like, hey, 50% off. Haunted houses. Number 9, your last day. I remember when I was in college one day, I was walking to class and this crazy dude yelled at me and he said I was gonna die in 3 years. So that's really awesome. Now I've since proven that man and his fingerless gloves wrong, but it did have me thinking for those 3 years, right? Now, what if? What if a website did that for you? Not that strange man on the side of the road there. What if a website allowed you, yeah, you, to input your information, to input your name, birthday, weight, height, all that good stuff, Libra, check, let's do this. Now if you input all that information, you tell deathdate.com what you're working with, and this site should tell you exactly when you'll die. Yeah, I haven't done it yet. I'm kind of too afraid. Should I do it? I don't know. If we do a part 2, then I'll do it. I'll start off by telling you how that website told me I was gonna die. I'll do it. Number 8, simulation argument. Okay, this one's pretty short and sweet. If you can't sleep at night and maybe you need something to read, something around 8 minutes long to, soothe your mind, well, head over to simulationargument.com. That's a good start, I'd say. Any questions you have about simulation theory, be it references in the past, both by philosophers or scientists or even in media, it's almost like a PDF file. Everything you need is right here. No photos, just links and explanations in an orderly fashion. Yeah, here's a blurb from the file. It reads, "Certainly some modifications are necessary once we admit the possibility of an infinite universe that may contain infinitely many simulated and non-simulated people. In this case, the ratio of simulated people to that total number of people is not defined." Awesome. So we may or may not be real. Who knows? Hit that thumbs up if you think I'm real. I promise I am, maybe. Number 7, pointer. So I've never laughed so hard in my life like 2 hours ago. I have to include this because it's actually really creepy when you really think about it. But at the same time, it's one of those things you can't help but love. Pointer.com. Okay, you move your cursor anywhere on the screen and then just let go. And then 1 second later, a photo from anywhere, somewhere from the internet will appear. Now this photo will have somebody pointing directly where you left your pointer on screen. Yeah, you move it a little bit and it finds a new photo instantly of somebody pointing at what appears to be your pointer again. Where do these photos come from? Who are these people? I have no idea. Couldn't tell you, but it's hilarious. It's like people at dinner with their family, but then one guy's in the background pointing. So now it's just there in front of your face. It's so odd. It feels illegal, honestly. If there's one point that really nails it in this list, this one feels illegal, feels very illegal. Number 6, world births and other stuff. Here's a website that looks like the stock market at first, okay? One side is green and it's very active, it's running, it's moving around. And the other side of the screen is red and it's also, of course, quite active. Not as active, but still up and running. The background is a world map and it updates every single second, showing each and every new birth on this side. It's fast. I sat at my computer at lunch and I just watched thousands of people being born. I was like, congratulations, congratulations. Wow, this is amazing, this is fascinating. Now, of course, the other side is the complete opposite, as you could tell. Hence the dark website theme going on in this list. The right side is every death all over the world, instantly. Yeah, refreshing every second. It's so creepy. You're sitting there on your iPad feeling like the watcher of the universe. You're like, ooh. Yeah, a lot of births, it's like this. It's like, a lot of people being born more than people are dying, so pick it up. Number 5, Dianea House. Right off the bat, this next one here is fiction, okay? I'll say that. But it doesn't take away the fact that you can just visit this site and get sucked down in this unique rabbit hole. We've all been stuck on Reddit for hours on end, be it videos or discussions, whatever. Am I the asshole? This changes it up a bit if you're looking for something new and otherwise creepy. The tale of the Dianea House takes you on this adventure. It's about 2 men, Mark and Eric, who learned that an old friend they both knew, they killed 2 people, then they ended their own life. Again, it's dark, but also again, it's fiction, I'll remind you. So Mark becomes obsessed with figuring out what went wrong and why their friend did this, yada yada yada. And the Dianea House is this website that you can visit and it shows his string of emails to Eric while he searches for answers. And of course, the way it ends is unique and will leave you sleepless. No spoilers, it's a great time, you know, go for it if you want. It reminds me of when the internet was new and these creepy sites were actually terrifying. Like Peter's Answers or whatever, where you like type in a question, but at the same time you're typing in the answer, and then your friends think that an AI is telling you oh, it's so creepy. Should have put that one in. That one sucked. Number 4, last words. Whew, okay. Again, these titles kind of give away the goods right off the bat. True crime is sweeping the nation. It seems like people are leaning into this now more than ever. You can learn how to draw on eyebrows while listening to a disappearance from 46 years ago. You know what I mean? It's so bizarre. I love it. Olivia and I are fans. We listen to all of our true crime podcasts every morning. We're like making coffee, listening. We're like, oh, that's good. That's really good. It's the best. The Texas Department of Criminal Justice has a list of all its past offenders, as well as all their information and offenses. And most jarring, the website includes their last words. Yeah, it's one of those things you want to see, but you're not quite sure why. You're like, this is dark. This is like some other level. I can't even relate to this shit. Hopefully. That'd be kind of weird if I could. Number 3, summoning demons. Cool. Am I standing in my salt circle for this one? Here we go. We're good. Yeah, depending on your beliefs, this next one will either freak you out or intrigue you. It's kind of weird. How to summon demons. Okay, all you gotta do is head to Angel Fire, or don't. Completely up to you. Let's say don't head there. How's that? There you go. This website is completely legal. They just argue why demons are real, and they also include a fun little charity donation button. You know, in case you summon a demon and want to come back and leave a 5-star review. Hey, thanks so much. Here's 10 bucks. Thanks for Balthazar. We're gonna go clean my foyer. There's also access to other groups that practice Satanism. So if you want to make some new friends, maybe Tinder is not working out, here you go. I'm sure you'll find lots in common with other Satanists on board. I personally think this stuff is hilarious. I don't know. Because I grew up with barely any access to any online textbooks for school that I needed. You know what I mean? Now we have a neatly organized Satan site. Get out of here. Number 2, WikiLeaks. Some good history around this one, gotta include it. In Stockholm, buried around 100 feet below street level, is an old nuclear bunker. Now today, it's a facility owned by Swedish internet provider Bahnhof. This is where they keep servers up and running for WikiLeaks. Yeah, we all know WikiLeaks, right? We use it for, you know, those movies we don't want to pay for. Oh shit, I'm going to jail, hang on. I'm like, oh, the cops are here, I just got arrested, it's crazy. Julian Assange, frontrunner for this whole operation. His hard drive is in said bunker, behind a 2-foot steel door, accompanied by numerous backup generators. So yeah, no one's touching that, I guess. No one's touching his Angry Birds high score that's locked away forever. In October 2010, WikiLeaks actually published Army field reports from 2004. Now, one of the biggest leaks in US history, this report confirmed that there were over 66,000 civilian deaths in the Iraqi war logs, out of the 109,000 in total. Now, this leak also suggested that some American troops were classifying civilians as enemies in their statistics. Yeah, this is some pretty crazy news, right? These numbers were from 2004 to 2009, so a lot of history we're missing there. So yeah, sometimes these sites bring out some good knowledge, you know, aside from demon speed dating. Sometimes you gotta hear the dirty stuff too. And finally, number 1, the scary maze game. I have to end this video on a good note, you know, so we can sleep a little bit. This one is pretty amazing. You can change somebody's life with this last website if you send it at the right time in their, you know, youth. The scary maze game. The first time you hear about this, you don't hear that word scary, do you? You just hear maze game. I played this for the first time on like a Windows 97. It took 18 minutes to load up too. I was so determined to get through this maze. I had the chair up nice and close. It was right close to the screen. The brightness was on 100% and contrast was low. It was right there. I had it in the bag. I was so close to the end, and then that face popped up. I never forgave my brother. That was it. Family beef was ignited. There we go. Have you ever sent the scary maze game to someone? If so, how did they react? You know, or any of these other websites. Send them these ones too. See how they react. Both will probably be the same. You'll probably get a nice what the f for every link that you send them.
Starting us off at number 10 is The Watch. Now this one genuinely freaked me out because everything was just way too coincidental, but let me know if you guys actually believe it or not. So on the listing for this watch, the seller said the watch was owned by a 24-year-old woman called Julie. The watch was a gift from her dad and he gave it to her before he died, saying whenever she wears it, he'll always be looking over her. And she used to basically wear it every single day no matter what she was doing. Like, you know that kind of accessory you only really take off when you're showering? Like that. Either way, one night she left the watch on her nightstand while working and decided to go for a cheeky midnight jog. But she never came back from her jog. Julie ended up getting abducted and killed by a delusional person at around 11:29 p.m. and the watch has actually been stuck on that time since that night. Its batteries are fine, it's not broken, it just doesn't move its hands. Julie's friend took the watch to a medium who confirmed that Julie knows for a fact that if she had been wearing the watch, she would have been safe, and so she just refuses to leave it now. The seller shared that whenever they hold the watch, there's sometimes a really abrupt temperature drop, and at one point they felt freezing in 80-degree weather. And apparently this whole backstory didn't really hold much appeal since it was bought for a whopping $17.5. Talk about cheap. So coming in at number 9 is Joey. Yeah, so this seller literally listed this little boy called Joey on eBay for $100, and I'm like, talk about self-worth and the legality and the humaneness of that. No, I'm kidding, Joey isn't a little boy, it's actually just a vintage teddy bear. Plot twist. The seller wrote that his grandma visited an antique store in San Diego as a teenager and bought this creepy teddy bear. She took it home, named it Joey, and then very quickly started having really horrific nightmares. She'd go to bed with Joey on her bedstand facing one direction, and when she woke up, he'd be facing a completely different direction. And last time I checked, inanimate bears can't move on their own. How does that work? Other instances, she'd leave the room and come back, and the bear would have one of his arms in the air, and despite how freaky it was, she never told her parents about it because she didn't want them to throw Joey away. Which honestly, you know, like, fair enough, you start getting attached to creepy cursed bears over time, it happens, can't help it. Either way, time passed, and on the grandma's 90th birthday, she told the seller to take some of her things, including Joey. He put the bear in his room and soon after started having really bad nightmares. We're getting a sense of deja vu here, and he started feeling this constant sensation of being watched all the time. His body parts would move randomly, and at a certain point the seller's kids started crying and begging him to get rid of the bear. He decided to store him in their garage, and then items in the garage would start falling from their shelves and moving out of place. And for all those reasons, the seller refused to have this cursed bear in his house any longer and listed it on eBay, where it was bought for a whopping $180. At number 8 we have Eve. Now Eve is listed on eBay by a Las Vegas-based seller, Angel Fire Lights, for $1,666. I love how they could have easily just kept the price at $666, which would have been a lot more creepy, but they were like, you know, nah, I want the extra grand. Either way, Eve is a cursed doll who's said to have a murderous spirit inside of her. The doll itself is extremely pale, she has tied up red hair, and is wearing a very fancy greyish white dress. And she sort of looks old-timey, like she's from the early 1900s. I could be overthinking, but she really does look like that. Anyway, the story goes that human Eve's lover gave her this doll, but then she went on to murder her lover and sister after they ended up falling in love with each other. She then took her own life, and her spirit was doomed to curse this doll forever. Scorned women, you guys, you can't mess with us, honestly. The seller said she can hear broken-hearted cries during the night, and that Eve causes the worst migraines. I don't know why you'd include that, since that's just not a great selling point, but sure, like no one's gonna pay nearly $2 grand for a migraine. I certainly won't. Coming in at number 5 is the photo. Listed by the asylum attic, the historic daguerreotype is apparently cursed by a Victorian man named Martin. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically the first type of photographic process that was invented. So just imagine black and white, old creepy men photographed looking like they have something stuck up their. And that's exactly what it is. The seller said they randomly found it hidden in the attic of their house, and kind of entertained by it would bring it out for their guests to look at. The more they did that, the more guests started noticing certain smells that would appear along with the photo. The smell of roses, the scent of cigar smoke, even the musty smell of smoke from a fire. The seller became so curious about the photo that they bought a Ouija board and spoke to the spirit inside. They claimed Martin was quite talkative and playful, but would suddenly become closed off at times. Sounds a bit moody to me. Either way, the seller liked Martin so much they moved the painting from the attic and hung it in their living room. After that, items in their house literally started disappearing, and not just moving around, which was happening too. No, just straight up disappearing. They'd hear footsteps in the living room when they were trying to sleep, and these things just started happening more and more that they ended up wanting to sell it. And there we have it. Out you go, Martin, you play too much. At number 4 is the juice container. This one is probably the cutest thing on the list. It's like a little deer carrying a moonshine bottle, but it's obviously not for moonshine, it's for juice or water, and there are a bunch of little cups attached at the bottom. All around, very cute. Anyway, the item was listed by Griffey911NY, and they described it as a donkey juice container, when, like, it is not a donkey from any angle, it's so clearly a deer. The thing looks like exactly like Bambi. Either way, the listing said it randomly fills up with water. The seller inherited it years ago from their grandma, and it's been showing him weird shit all his life. Now, originally, he just assumed his grandma would fill it with water every day, but after she died, he realized it was still happening and no one else was doing it. He's always been skeptical of the jug. I mean, he doesn't find the occurrence scary or anything, he just doesn't get how it happens or why it happens. He has a strong feeling the jug had a big backstory involving it being cursed, since his grandma was really into the occult, but she never trusted him enough to actually tell him the story. Either way, if that's cursed, that's a very good curse to be, like free water for life, unless it's from the baths of hell, then it's not so good. Filling our number 3 slot are the gentleman's shoes. So dolls are up there, and so are shoes apparently. So the seller said he found these black leather shoes at a local thrift store, and when he got home, he realized the shoes had been engraved with the previous owner's name. Curious, the seller decided to search up the name and found the man's obituary. The more he read, the more he found out, and he realized the man had been reported missing and his murdered body was found a month later. Now, here's where it gets weird. Not that that wasn't weird, because it was. As soon as he finished reading the article, his computer randomly shut itself off. Weird, but he brushed it off. But then that night, he had a massive crash in his kitchen and found one of his blackboards just on the floor. Thinking thinking it was a freak accident, he just went back to bed. The next day, he woke up and his son told him the electricity in his room had gone out for 30 minutes, even though the rest of the house was completely fine. He even had 2 Blessed Mother statues and they were facing different directions even though no one had moved them. He opened his fridge one day and 5 things fell out even though they were always pushed to the back and never at the edge. So after all that, he was like, these shoes are going because my life was completely fine before I bought them. So he ended up listing them on eBay and they were sold for $125. These are the second cursed shoes on the list now. Ain't nobody got time for that. And finally, at number 1 is the jewelry box. It looks like the most antique jewelry box ever. Like, honestly, who needs a jewelry box that big? It's genuinely massive. I could put clothes in there if I tried. Mine's like 3 dainty glass boxes, but anyway, that's relevant. The seller claims the box used to be owned by a lovely young woman who ended up dying in a horrible plane crash. After she died, her mum kept the box and started hearing bizarre noises coming from what used to be her bedroom. The days went by, she kept hearing it, and finally bringing herself to enter her daughter's room again, she went in to see a full body apparition of her daughter screaming in the middle of the room. Now she couldn't hear anything the daughter was saying, but the hum she'd been hearing for the past few days. The current seller used EVPs to see what was really up, and they reported hearing the words "take me home" and "hello." When they used an EMF, the box triggered even higher ratings. So the box is most definitely cursed by the girl's soul, and I hope whoever buys it knows it's like a buy one get one full screaming ghost girl for free package deal. It should say that somewhere, like a little, like in fine print.
Starting off this countdown, we have the used false teeth. Lord, I don't know why anyone would list this, let alone buy it. But I searched eBay and apparently there's a hot market for false teeth. Specifically, used false teeth. Anyway, this item was listed and sold for £25. Take a look. Why would anyone want those? Are they a collector's item or something? Not only that, but the teeth were listed as well used and in need of a clean. No, sorry. That's where I draw the line. Coming in at number 9, we have William Shatner's kidney stone. You heard me correctly. If you guys are liking this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up because it really helps us out. In 2006, William Shatner passed a kidney stone and put it up for sale on eBay. Okay, like I get that he's a celebrity and all, but who wants a kidney stone? Not me, even if it was from Harry Styles or someone else. No thank you. Anyways, the stone ended up selling at $15,000. I just wonder where the stone is now. Moving on to number 8, we have the possessed bartender doll. According to this next eBay seller, this doll is possessed and would often move on its own, even when it's got no batteries in it. Apparently, she received this doll along with a number of other haunted items from a friend. The friend had a relative that passed away and she was a witch that practiced dark magic. In the description of the item, she wrote, "Honestly, it just gives me the creeps and I don't like the energy it gives off." Yeah, that thing looks creepy AF, but it sold for $90, so someone's got a possessed doll on their hands. In our 7th spot, we have the haunted zombie doll. So, I don't know why anyone would want to buy real haunted or cursed items on eBay. Like, do they have a death wish or something? Anyways, this woman decided to buy a doll on eBay titled the Haunted Zombie Doll. It was labeled as a very active doll. The seller said it's as if she's almost alive. It also came with specific care instructions. It was to be locked away in a silver viewing box. But this girl ignored all that. She intended on having it as a decor piece. Not judging, but I'd say just stick to IKEA decor. So she did what she was not supposed to and took the doll out of the box. And what do you know? The doll repeatedly attacked her, which left her with cuts and bruises on her legs. One night she heard tapping noises downstairs, and when she went to explore, she found the doll on the ground. This continued constantly. Then one night she was sitting on her porch and felt a stinging sensation on her leg. She looked down and she had 3 claw marks on her ankle, not from a raccoon. Every night she would wake up with a new scratch or mark on her body. She then locked the doll back in the box and put it in her basement. But that didn't stop it. The doll would haunt her in her dreams, and sometimes she could hear like an evil laugh and giggle coming from the basement. Now, she eventually resold the doll on eBay, but the haunting didn't stop until she got herself and her home cleansed. In our 6th spot, we have the Dybbuk box. Yes, this next eBay seller sold a Dybbuk box. Basically, it's a box that contains a malicious spirit that can and will possess you. So you really don't want to be messing around with these types of things. The box was listed with the warning, demonic entity attachment, do not open. I don't know how eBay lets people sell cursed items. Like, hello, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the haunted cane. In 2004, a 6-year-old boy was convinced that his grandfather's ghost was haunting him. So his mom decided to sell the grandfather's cane on eBay to try and get rid of the ghost. She thought maybe he would go where the cane went. So she listed the cane on eBay and explained her situation. Best business move of her life. The cane sold for $65,000. Seriously, I'm about to go to the thrift store and pick up a bunch of weird items and claim that they're haunted, cause damn, I need that kind of money. Moving on to number 4, we have the haunted painting. In February of 2000, an anonymous seller listed a haunted painting on eBay for auction. It has now grown to be one of the most famous haunted paintings in America. So this painting was created by an artist named Bill Stoneham in 1972. It's of a young boy and female doll standing in front of a glass panel door that have these creepy little ghost children hands pressed on it. And the girl is creepy as heck with hollow dark eyes and a sad face. When the seller listed it on eBay, they said that it was haunting their daughter at night. They went on to say that they set up a motion sensing camera to monitor the painting, and it captured the boy leaving the frame. Now, a lot of people were intrigued by this. In fact, it was purchased and sold by multiple different people. I guess the paranormal activity was too much for them, so they would resell it. In fact, when it was listed on eBay, the buyer had to sign a waiver, saying they weren't responsible as to what happened after the painting was bought. In our 3rd spot, we have the mummified tongue. Yes, this person sold a mummified tongue. In fact, eBay took it down once because they thought it was a real human tongue. But then the seller reposted it and clarified that it was a non-human taxidermy specimen. But still, they didn't say what animal or thing it belonged to. Anyways, the listing read as so. Interesting mummified Dorset tongue in a simple white matted and red textured background shadow box. The tongue is very detailed with taste buds visible. Specimen is correctly preserved and will last indefinitely. Sure to be a great conversation piece, great for your collection. First off, the whole taste buds visible part, TMI. I didn't need to know that. And sure, yeah, great conversation piece. If you own a museum, not for hanging in your home, but it sold for $51, so clearly someone liked it. In our 2nd spot, we have the ghost in a jar. So if you wanted to, you could buy a ghost. Sounds crazy, but it's true. So according to this seller, back in the early 1980s, while out metal detecting, he came across an old abandoned cemetery. While searching around, his metal detector started going crazy. So he took his shovel and started digging. That's when he came across a rotten wooden box. When he opened it, he found 2 jars. The jars had weird writing and symbols on it. While trying to get the jars out, he dropped one of them and it broke. That's when a black mist seeped out of it. After doing research, he found out that he probably let out someone's spirit or a ghost. The other jar he put up for sale, and you won't believe how much someone bought it for. $50,000. That's insane. For all we know, it could just be a bottle of dirt and not even a real ghost, so. And in our number 1 spot, we have Jeffrey Dahmer's jacket. Okay, this one is absolutely crazy. But this one eBay seller claimed that he owned a jacket that once belonged to serial killer and cannibal Jeffrey Dahmer. According to the seller, he was in the same class as Dahmer at River High in Bath, Ohio. In senior year, the seller was doing a comedy act and needed an army jacket for the sketch. They didn't have one, so Jeffrey loaned him one from his car. After the show, he said for him to keep it. Some even remember Jeffrey wearing that exact jacket. Okay, are we sure that that was one of Jeffrey's jackets, or was it one of his victims? Who knows? But the jacket ended up selling for $150.
Number 10, Han Solo. No, Han Solo did not get possessed. He was the thing doing the possessing. One look at this Stormtrooper toy is already enough to make you feel like it's cursed. Han Solo's lifeless eyes staring out into space are enough to put you on edge. And as much as I thought Harrison Ford was a hottie in the movies, I just can't get past those eyes. So take in its unsettling visual appearance and then the way it apparently haunts the people who own it. The person person selling it said that when they came into ownership of the toy, they started experiencing strange and terrifying things. That's because there is apparently a spirit trapped inside the toy who perished in a house fire, his soul coming to possess the stormtrooper. As a result, anyone who owns the toy will be haunted by hallucinations of a house on fire, and you apparently can't escape it when you go to sleep either. It will reportedly give you nightly nightmares of the man who died screaming while the house around him is engulfed in flames. Number 9. Doorknobs. Asylums are often known as being incredibly haunted. This comes from the fact that many people believe ghosts and spirits come around from having a traumatic death or having unfinished business on Earth. With the history of mental health care practices as scary and unethical as it is, it's no wonder that these sort of places are busy with spiritual activity, especially after they've been shut down and abandoned. This seller on eBay had 2 doorknobs that he claimed to have taken from an abandoned asylum that apparently had many reports of strange noises and other paranormal activity taking place. These aren't just nice antique knobs, but instead hold the trauma of angry ghosts who will want to make your home as terrifying and haunted as the asylum they came from. The person who owned them said that doors in their home would often open without cause, and they could hear people's voices when nobody else was there. Number 8. Teddy bear. While some haunted items may definitely look the part, being torn up, withered, and maybe having that soulless look in their eyes, there are some possessed artifacts that actually look pretty unassuming. For one, this adorable little teddy bear that I found. His name is Joshua and he's pretty cute, but he also apparently sets off EMF readers and is possessed by an angry, restless spirit. The people selling it found him at an estate sale, and apparently when they held the teddy bear, they immediately started to feel upset, overwhelmed, and anxious. They used a spirit box to try and communicate with whoever was possessing the doll, and it responded that he felt alone. Apparently being an old man who had recently passed away and has been unable to come to terms with the fact that they're dead. Because of this, they are apparently trying to latch on to someone to continue their life and not need to accept that they're dead. Number 7. Haunted bra. Let's follow that up with something a little bit weirder. Not a haunted teddy bear, but instead a haunted bra. While possession is a big scary word, it may not always have to be a bad thing, as this item claimed. The person selling this size 32A bra says that it is haunted by a woman who lived a life of many romantic adventures and wild partying. When she died, she somehow attached her spirit to the bra. If you wear the bra, you will find yourself having the same romantic success that she did in her life. It's also said that if you light a candle by the bra, the woman's spirit will appear. And if the candle is red, the woman will possess you and you will have a quote, erotic encounter with the spiritual world. I'm not quite sure exactly what that would be and what it would include, but I'm about to place an Amazon order for a bulk pack of red candles for a totally unrelated reason. Number 6. Anguished man. Haunted paintings are nothing new and have supposedly been around for centuries. So let's take a look at a few that have been put up for sale on eBay and have apparently come to haunt and possess those who own them. The first is called the Anguished Man painting, and it's honestly pretty horrifying. Definitely a man in anguish. The person selling it described it as a haunting paranormal portrait, and yeah, that seems pretty accurate. Here's how the seller described the painting affecting him. Since owning this painting, I have experienced a number of strange paranormal events that cannot be easily explained. These include hearing disembodied footsteps from elsewhere in the house, the sound of birdsong appearing out of the air in the living room, and finally observing a heavy metal door latch lift by itself and the kitchen door open by itself. He goes on to say that this is a great gift for a less than loved one. Number 2. Haunted statue. Next up, we have another artistic piece that is apparently haunted by the restless and angry spirit of its deceased creator. The seller said that this piece was created by a man named William, who worked construction and would spend his spare time making statues out of clay. This specific statue, which is pretty creepy on its own by the way, was made the same day that William passed away in a freak accident on the construction site. When a co-worker later returned to the site, they saw that the statue was still there, so he decided to pick it up and take it home with him. As soon as he got home, strange things started happening. Doors would slam with no explanation, lights would turn on and off, decorations near the statue would be shattered and destroyed, and sometimes the statue would turn around and face different directions. He said he also felt unwell mentally and would sometimes see a strange shadow next to the statue, deciding he needed to be rid of it and putting it on eBay. Related anecdote from my childhood, when I was a kid I had a 2x4 piece of wood that I painted a face on and I named it Steve. And he was absolutely terrifying, so me and my siblings would hide him around the house, like in cupboards and under pillows, in order to freak each other out. I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but I was a pretty weird kid. Number 1. Haunted dolls. Finally, we get to talk about the haunted dolls that will apparently try to ruin your life and possess you. In researching this video, I went down a rabbit hole and learned that there is an entire market on eBay dedicated to selling dolls that have apparently become the home of various different spirits. They are listed with what kind of spirit is inhabiting them, whether it be a happy one, an angry one, or even one with motherly intentions. The descriptions usually tell stories of where they found the doll, how the spirit died, and what things will happen to people who own it. They are also sometimes stated to be beginner friendly or not beginner friendly, I guess basing that on how much experience you have with dolls with ghosts inside of them. There are just so many of these strange and insane stories that range from terrifying to hilarious that I am actually going to be making a full top 10 video of just haunted eBay dolls, so if you're interested in that, keep your eye out over the next week.